Hello, everyone. My name is Wanjiko Bosire, and
My name is June Kipingor.
and we are calling this the ABA table because I'm a parent to a 5-year-old boy who is on the who has autism, who is on the spectrum, and started ABA about 3 to 4 years back. Mm-hmm. And June was actually my first therapist. We are very good friends even after that. And why we chose to do this is because we are not BCBAs, but we are doing school to become BCBAs. So we are in school, and as part of school, we are supposed to discuss about topics, and why not record and have a parent benefit from it? So the first topic we thought of talking about is called Manding. And personally, I felt it was very important because this is the first language that I ever used to teach Kirongo anything. Yes, it's heavily reliant on a parent and therapist, just the people around the child. So yeah, basically that's what we are going to talk about. And well, one of the benefits as a parent, I'll tell you, when we started ABA, my son only had 2 words. One was ball, the other was tota, meaning water. And right now he tells me almost everything. You come and you have a candle, you tell him, get matchstick. He has his toe outside, he will come and tell me, blow toe. So I'm really happy to where we have come. And it has been progress, and
quite a journey.
It's quite a journey. And I mean, June was there by the time she was heading somewhere else. Kirongo was already ahead, and I thank God for that. And of course, I thank my friend June for that as well. So yeah, so I'll let June talk about Manding.
Yeah, first let me just give you a bit of background on myself. I got into special needs in 2009, and then ABA in 2010, and specifically verbal behavior in 2015. And I think I started working with Jackie in 2016. Thereabouts. Yes, yeah, yeah. So that's basically my background. And yes, we're both in a master's program studying, and this will technically cover part of our practicum in our program. But Jackie had the brilliant idea of deciding to share with other parents because definitely, yes, it will benefit everyone. Yes, so we'll share the little we know about Manding, and in the hopes that if you have any feedback or questions, please don't hesitate to comment or write
in
back.
the group.
Yeah,
for the videos. Yeah. All right.
So basically, Manding is requesting, is asking for something, and where we started, for example, with Kirongo, is just asking for an item like glass or an action like pour. And we built from there to the point where he now uses 2 words in combination. Yeah.
Yep. And Manding, why we chose this topic is because Manding is the first language a child learns. So it's the first thing that you're able to communicate with. So anyway, that's about it. I can say about the first part of, why Manding is important for them, for the child, and for you as parents to learn to use it.
Yeah. And so if you're encouraging your child to use his words, and one of the errors I think parents or anyone actually does, if a child doesn't know, like they want something that's in front of them, for example, this glass, and they come and point at it, usually you just give it to them because obviously, your child wants it, you just hand it over to them, but you didn't encourage them to use any words. So this is what Manding specifically is. If the child wants something that's in front of them, before you give it to them, and there's the desire, there's the motivation. The motivation is wanting something. If the motivation is there, say the word first. So for example, like she has the glass. So if I'm reaching for it, Before she gives it to me, she would say,
glass.
and I would repeat, glass, as the child. Because I want it. I'm like, I really want this thing. And if they want me to say glass, I will say glass.
And if they say immediately, give them.
Yes. Yeah.
So that they know the moment they mention something, they are given.
Yes. And this reinforces that action to happen again.
Yeah, it increases the future frequency of it happening more times in the future.
Before we give you a scenario, we want to talk about when it's appropriate to require the child to mand. If a child has had, if they wanted the glass, like maybe the glass of water, but they've already drank the water, and I'm like, now I'm done with this glass, I'm done with the water, I don't care about it anymore. I'm full. I've had my water. You don't come to the child and say, now say glass, say glass, say glass, because then you're forcing them to speak about something they don't care about. I've already had my drink. I'm done. I'm not thirsty anymore. Yeah. So the appropriate time to require any child to speak is when they have the desire to do so. Yeah.
And that's the most important, because at the end of the day, we learn when we are motivated to do something. If things are just boring, you just be there, So we learn when we are motivated for something. And the creation of, you can imagine if today, let's say there's a glass of juice. So they come and they know it's a glass of juice. And you tell them, juice. Then tomorrow, they'll come to you again and, they
want the juice. Yeah.
They want the juice. So you get them to say juice before they get. I mean, with so many repetitions, there'll come a time when you hold the glass up and he's about to say, you just say juice without you saying juice.
Because he wants it.
Yes, and
the desire is there.
Yes, and the many repetitions of the same thing, let's say like the juice or whatever that is motivating for them, or the ball and the what, is what, like for Kerongo, made him understand that the ball, is actually ball, and I just have to say ball to get this ball. Because one of the things I really struggled with before I started actually ABA was Kerongo could echo back a lot of things. He could say, you tell him, say ball, you say ball. But he's not truly understanding what the ball is. Yeah. So the repetition of using motivation when the kid really wants something and taking that opportunity for them to learn what that item is, I think was my most important thing that I learned about ABA, especially when I was starting. Yeah.
And the other thing I just want to caution is manding or requesting is not requiring the child to label the thing. Mm-hmm. So if the child wants the glass, don't ask them, what is it? Because then they're learning to label it. Mm-hmm. You're not teaching them to ask for it, you're teaching them to label it. Mm-hmm. You want them to ask for it. And they're totally two different things, being able to label something and being able to ask for something. You might find a child knows this is a glass, this is a phone, that's a table, that's a pen, but they don't know how to ask for it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is why we're encouraging you to teach a child to demand a request. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's the only way they'll be able to communicate, even when they're out, and it doesn't matter where they are. They will learn to talk to someone random and tell them what they want. Yeah.
And like Kerongo used to, when he used to go to the kitchen, especially, he really loved juice. So he'll be like, yeah. So he learned he doesn't have to do all the screaming and whining. He can just say juice and I'll give it to him. But this after many repetitions of doing this. I mean, even as we learn through repetitions, exactly. It's hard. I mean, you read a topic, you have to read it again to get it properly. So even for them, it's not any different.
Yeah, and especially if your child has difficulty speaking, you might find they get very frustrated when you don't know. They're trying to tell you something, but they don't know what the word is, and they get very frustrated. But if you teach them what it is, it'll ease their frustration. It'll ease your frustration trying to figure out what it was. You're like, I want this, but I don't know how to tell you. Eventually, when you know it's a glass, you're like, glass, and you get it. So we had some scenarios for you. We want to try and role play for you. So we have the example of a lot of kids like gadgets. The first one is if you have a child who speaks. Yeah, because you might have a child who doesn't speak or is not able to enunciate things clearly. So the first one we'll do for you is for a child who speaks. So Jackie
Who can echo back?
Yeah, echo back.
Yeah.
Which is Jackie will play the child. So this is the item they desire right now. Phone?
Phone.
Yeah, the phone! There you go. And remember, praise them. Kids love praise and like encouragement, yes?
And then the thing, remember, the moment they try to say, they say the phone, you want to give it to them immediately.
Reinforce that action.
Yes, because we want that talking to continue. So we have to, give it, reward it immediately.
I did a good thing. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah. And don't wait like 3 seconds, 4 seconds. Give it immediately. That's
on this one, just to get a bit technical, because if you wait, you've already handed them the phone, they start doing something else, and they're like, oh, yeah. You might reinforce the wrong thing, not that they spoke. Yeah, you might reinforce something else. So they're like, oh, maybe me holding the phone was a good thing, So you want to reinforce the fact that they spoke.
Let's do a scenario where we'll do for you a scenario where she praises me. She doesn't give me the phone immediately, and then gives me when I start whining.
Yeah.
So that means I know, what did I do the last thing? I know I whined. So next time I'll whine.
Yes.
I'll whine. So let's do a scenario where I'm
Phone?
Phone. So you see that?
Oh, there you go, phone. Sorry, I forgot to press. But anyway, she still got rewarded by the phone.
I got rewarded by the phone, but before I was given the phone, I was whining.
And you find more kids will be like, I'll keep whining.
Yeah.
And the more now, in fact, in the future, what will happen, if I stay with phone, the whining will lengthen.
Yes.
And lengthen.
Yes.
And lengthen. And this is not what you want to encourage. You want to encourage the speaking.
It's the speaking. Yeah. So you want to do it the first way we did it, the moment the kid says phone. Immediately, give them the item, the reward. Then that will make the kid the next time they know
use the words.
Yeah. And the many repetitions.
Create scenarios for any time you see the child want something. And I think it happens more so in just everyday things. Every day, the child will always want a cookie. The child will want TV. They want the remote. They want your iPad. You have opportunities. Maybe we don't always realize it, but we have opportunities where we can encourage the child to speak. Yes. Want anything. The child always wants something. Even if it's just to tie their shoelace or something, there's opportunities for the child to want something. Perfect opportunities to require them to say the words.
So anyway,
we have a second scenario where the child maybe he can't clearly say the word phone, but maybe they can say the sound or even some approximation to the word phone. As long as they say something, give it to them. But if for some of our kids, we might try and repeat the word in the hopes that they say it. So you might, we'll show you and then we'll explain it afterwards. Phone. Here you go, phone. Try phone. So for some, it's just difficult to say any sound. Encourage them to speak any sound, and you might find over time that encouragement of trying to say phone, and just try 3 times. Don't restrict the child. You might say phone. Any repetition that's as closest to the word phone, just hand it over to them. They tried. They made an effort. Yeah.
Well, just to mention, especially when they are first trying to talk, you want to reward them a lot more times to encourage that talking. And as they talk more, they get to a place where, wants the phone and doesn't whine and gets fuck. So then you can start clearing it up and be like, phone.
And even that second time, they might even just get to fo rather than a fa. And you're like, that's brilliant. And hand it to them.
So basically, this was meant just to talk about as we said, Manding.
And encourage parents, you know, just
it's praises for that little boy.
Yeah.
And mostly, I think we put mostly in mind the younger kids who are, you know, who are just learning to speak.
Another encouragement is some of our kids maybe just have one word, two words, and that's fine. That's how we
totally
learn.
fine.
Yeah, we learn with just learning an item and learning an action, and eventually we build up from that. But just encourage them to speak and use it. Yeah.
And let's say like you're playing ball outside, so you want him to come. He loves the ball or the swing, and you're just about, you know, to get him to. He has sat and you're just about to push him, so you can be like swing, you know, so that the next time he doesn't, you know, he'll be able to know what swing is. Yeah. And I'll tell you, as much as my son had a lot of therapy during the day, was having a lot of therapy, in the evening, mine and the dad was to lay with him, and the parents have that natural motivation to be with the child. The child actually wants to be with you.
They're more likely to actually say what's with a parent, because in and of themselves, a parent is motivating to a child.
Yes. And that's the one thing actually we found that was really, really helpful in our, you know, natural setting in our home when therapists are gone and what. So it was really helpful. And we really used to struggle with the challenging behavior. Challenging behavior meaning whining, crying, and I can't tell what he's crying about, you know. So helping to use MANS, to helping him to know how to request, really also helped him in the sense that, I mean, crying is effortful for anyone. Even them, I'm sure they don't enjoy it. So you'd rather talk, and if I learn how to use my words, then it's better for everyone. For me as a parent, for the child, for Kirongo, it was all better for both of us.
I think even just from experience, we can say, you can see that the behavior is actually just all that crying has reduced. He does less now because he knows I can say this and I get this. So it's I honestly, yes, I think it is benefit for the parents,
for the family. So this is the first time we are doing this.
Hopefully we'll come back with more topics that would be helpful to you, like problem behavior.
Yes, and sorry, just checking through my notes just to make sure we haven't.
You can even have any topics that you want us to discuss. I mean, if we've come across them in our studies, we will bring the topic up and we will try and talk about it and share what we've learned.
In one of the videos, we'll try to share with you, you know, how the one thing I also at that time didn't know how to do is to play with my own child, and how to get that motivation going, make it interesting, and try to get those MANS. So
it's not easy. Even for a profession, it takes us a while. It's not easy.
But I'll tell you one thing, it's hard on them. Parents, it's easy on us. For your own child, it's easier. So we'll try to contrive, you know, maybe a game, and you know, just show you examples of some games or something that
you have to contrive motivation. That's what it's called. Trying to get the child interested
in stuff, and trying to, you know, knowing when to judge. Hey, I can get a word here.
Yes. Are they bored? Are they interested? Should I try and get them to speak?
And I'll give you an example, like even simple, like singing. I remember I used to do Twinkle, Twinkle, Little, then I'll get Kirongo to say star. But then I learned, hey, Kirongo wants to sing. He comes to me and says, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little star, starts to swing. But he can say, sing, Twinkle.
So now that's a man.
So I learned to tell him, hey, say sing Twinkle, instead of coming to me and singing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star for me to join. So he comes to you, you want him to come to you and request for stuff.
Because in the future, if you went to a total stranger and just started singing, they wouldn't necessarily know, I should continue singing and finish the song. Yeah, if you came and said, sing Twinkle, then someone would know, oh, that's what this child wants for me to sing with them.
Yes. So,
yes, I hope we've been helpful. Yeah.
We'll try to do more videos. As we mentioned, we are both in school. We are doing masters in ABA. We'll try to do more videos, and part of our practicum was to do this. And
we look forward to your feedback.
Yes, we look forward to your feedback. If you have questions, please let us know. In the next video, we can address them before even we start on the topic.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Cheers.